In the Book of Knowledge, the Keys of Enoch, the writer has a quote-unquote direct experience with two spirits, Enoch and Metatron, and they share with the writer spiritually scientific teachings regarding the new system of things soon to be fully manifest. The reason this work is considered extra special amongst its readers is because it was the first book to point out the alignment between the Great Pyramid and the constellation of Orion. The first book ever. That's basically proof that these spirits, Enoch and Metatron, are the real deal. Not only that, it was also the first book to show the direct relationship between DNA coding and the divine name. That's pretty serious, and the atheists should be really waking up by now, because this is the world's most powerful and secret religion we're talking about, nothing less. The writer was told that those who govern the earth are those who have fallen from the heavens. He calls them the masters, and even states that they were punished with penalties that were assigned to each. These are the fallen angels of the Bible, people. These are the masters of the Masonic New Age, as proven here in one of the illustrations from the book. Same symbology. This worldwide catastrophe that is coming will bring about a complete reorganization of Earth's life system. And like all high-grade initiates of the secret societies, every attempt is made to bring positivity to the number of the Vicar of Lucifer. I was given instruction to use the specific light harmonics 666, 999, and 12-12-12. The spirits further inform the writer of the Keys of Enoch that the pattern 666 is used to identify you with respect to the Earth's vibration. The number of the beast of the Book of Revelation of Jesus Christ is not only being glorified, it's manifesting in the world. And from another illustration from the book, once again, the same image we see being used over and over with the eye on top of the pyramid. This is the secret religion that encompasses us and has been influencing us for decades upon decades, 2 to 3 centuries, in fact. Just like the Gospels explain, this is an absolute counterfeit of the truth. Christ is mentioned everywhere, but not Jesus Christ. No, this is the Antichrist spirit, who will eventually manifest and appear to the world as one man. Doesn't sound so mythical anymore when you see that the enemies of Jesus Christ and those behind the New World System, they use biblical terms. And Christ, to depict the antithesis, the anti of the real Christ, their Savior. And these spirits from the world we can't see are the ones who taught mankind the sick art of witchcraft. Look at who supplies this book online, sacredmagic.com. You know what magic really is and what it really entails now. So once again, you can see the connection, the relationship. If you still think that this phrase, New World Order, is a conspiracy theory, you're suffering from a medical condition. On the Lucius Trust website, the consultants to the European Union, you find the statement that the New World servers are occupied with the task of inaugurating the New World Order. In the same article, this shocking admission is made. 2/3 of humanity will stand upon the path at the close of this age, and with that, 1/3 will die, or to put it surreptitiously, will be held over for later unfoldment. That's the Lucius Trust, the word Lucius being the replacement for the word Lucifer, who works hand in hand with the EU, the European Union, stating that 2.5 billion human beings are planned to be killed off, all predicted by Jesus and only Jesus. And if you still think I'm joking or misleading you about what these people are and what they plan to do, here's a book written by the founder of the Lucius Trust, the Freemason Alice Bailey, Education in the New Age, where she, well, educates you about mass population reduction. When a form proves inadequate or too diseased or too crippled for the expression of that purpose, it is, from the point of view of the hierarchy, no disaster when that form has to go. Death is not a disaster to be feared. The work of the destroyer is not really cruel or undesirable. Do you see? Did you hear that? Through the all-seeing eye of Lucifer, the destroyer, for the purpose of the new world, death and mass murder isn't evil, it's good. And Alice Bailey in The Labours of Hercules also tries to re-educate us and protect that God-forsaken number, predicted in the Gospels to be associated with evil. The number of the physical plane activity is called the number of the beast. This idea seems to have a horrible fascination with many, but what it really means is that Virgo is the symbol of triplicity. 6 on the physical plane, 6 on the emotional plane, and 6 on the mental plane. Not 666 at all. And one more time, from the consultants to the European Union, from their website Lucius Trust, to prove to you that these people are all working toward and waiting for the world leader. The coming of the Avatar and the advent of the coming one are the keynotes of the prevalent expectancy. After everything I've shown you, are you going to ignore this? Or worse, are you going to trust these people, of whom were predicted to this very condemnation 2,000 years ago? Right down to a one-world system, depopulation, and to the man who will carry the number 666, and with it implement a new system in which you won't be able to buy or sell unless you receive a mark in your hand or forehead. And what's just been announced by Business Insider? Cashless society. Due to this, by 2024. This is the manufactured trend for the world. And you better believe it's fulfilling biblical prophecy. You know that book that's been ripped out of schools and hysterically discredited? Why do you think there's a single eye displayed on all the covers of George Orwell's dystopian novel 1984? It's because the one-eye religion is the one in permanent control, where democracy and Christianity have been utterly extinguished, and the remaining population live in a whole new level of permanent communism. It is well known that George Orwell himself had ties with the Fabian Society, which is a secret society complete with degrees of initiation. Tucked away neatly somewhere under the wing of Freemasonry, the Fabian Society's logo used to be this: a wolf in sheep's clothing, which is exactly what Freemasonry is. And it was a metaphor for gradually advancing socialism. And socialism is communism for slow learners. This level of denial on our part has been brought on by mass propaganda, because everything has been weaponized to work against you and God's truth. Education, entertainment, and economics. You're a slave to each one. And Freemasonry is the slave master. Listen to the Grand Pontiff of Universal Freemasonry tell you about it in Morals and Dogma. The blind force of the people is a force that must be economized and also managed as the blind force of steam. You are just blind energy to them, made to be enslaved. This force must have a brain. Who do you think the brain is? Freemasonry is the brain, obviously. And he's saying that we're just the body parts that move to its will. Look, these are some pictures I took of the local obelisk in my town. An erect phallus hidden in plain sight. See how the cube at the bottom is rough? In Freemasonry it's called the rough ashlar stone. Well, watch this from Morals and Dogma. The rough ashlar is the people, rude and unorganized. Once again, you can see what this secret society secretly thinks of you. Now see how the stone built on top is smooth? That's called the perfect ashlar. The perfect ashlar is the state, the rulers. Yeah, the one-eye sex cult of Freemasonry, which hides its master, Satanism. Now, where is this brain taking us? Remember, this guy is the general who fought against the United States forces to uphold the institution of slavery. And the Grand Pontiff of Universal Freemasonry, who calls you the vulgar herd and the ignorant multitude, and admits that, yes, unbelievably so, Lucifer is the light bearer. This is the highest authority in Freemasonry, the secret religion of all our leaders and idols. Believe it. Now listen to this. The papacy and rival monarchies, all that will become the heritage of the temple, meaning the temple of Freemasonry. The world will soon come to us for its sovereigns and pontiffs. We shall constitute the equilibrium of the universe and be rulers over the masters of the world. They're gonna own it all. And it's true, the papacy and the monarchy have fallen into their hands. all Freemasons now. This is a 150-year-old book, so you can see how far ahead they plan while we stay ignorant. How do you suppose that they won't achieve the New World Order? The New World Order of death. Of combined and systematic movement and effort, the great revolution prepared for by the ages will begin to march. The future is all planned for by them, and the revolution prepared for by the ages is coming, and it'll look like a natural occurring event, just as current events seem natural. Lastly, from his other book, Legenda, and reading from the ancient and accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry, Albert writes, "And thus the warfare against the powers of evil, meaning Christianity, that crushed the order of the temple in the 1300s, goes steadily on, and freedom marches ever onward toward the conquest of the world." The conquest of the world, guys. And this is their method. Ingenious as it is, the double-headed eagle, the left and right paradigm. Whether you are pro-abortion or life, prefer Macca's or KFC, Ford or Holden, vote Liberal or Labour, shop at Coles or Woolies, go for the Parramatta Eels or the Canterbury Bulldogs, always the two most opposing forces, the result always feeds the one belly. The two heads always serve the same Masonic beast. Do you get it? That's number one. Number two is the horribly magnificent motto of their double-headed eagle, Ordo ab Chaos. That means order out of chaos. It's the ultimate way to achieve your sinister goals while looking like a hero. With one hand, they create beautiful and noble things. With the other hand, the hidden hand, they destroy and pervert. Then the helping hand comes back in to save or fix things again, alternating from one to the other, while nudging toward a predetermined goal, until finally reaching that goal that's set in mind in the first place. All the while, you never knew that the same hand that's saving you is the same hand that was destroying you in the first place. Order out of chaos. Their order out of their chaos. Another way to look at it is this. Z creates or exploits a problem, then attributes blame to others. Y reacts by asking Z for protection and help to solve the problem. Z offers the solution that was planned for by them long before the crisis occurred. Ordo ab Chaos, order out of chaos. Now you can change Z and Y to suit any scenario. For example, your best friend who wants to sleep with you creates or exploits a problem, then attributes blame to others. You react by asking your best friend who wants to sleep with you for protection and help to solve the problem. Your best friend who wants to sleep with you offers the solution that was planned by them long before the crisis occurred. Each time your best friend gets closer and closer to you until eventually they're in your bed. How about your employee creates or exploits a problem, then attributes blame to others? The employer reacts by asking the employee for help to solve the problem. The employee offers the solution that was planned by them long before the crisis occurred. The employee eventually gets the promotion. But this is the way I really want to put it. The government creates or exploits a problem, then attributes blame to others. The population reacts by asking the government for protection and help to solve the problem. The government offers the solution that was planned by them long before the crisis even occurred. This is how the Great Revolution, prepared for by the ages by the Freemasons, will begin. So who's going to warn you? Even modern Christianity is steered by Freemasonry. Hillsong won't warn the sheep about Freemasonry and the One World Government. What, the Hillsong senior pastor who wrote these books and lives here? No chance. Did modern-day Christian heroes like Billy Graham warn you about Freemasonry? Well, no, because here he is giving the Master Mason grip to other Christian giants like Paul and Jan Crouch, all Freemasons. Here he gives the same third-degree handshake to former President Harry Truman, and here to a Muslim Freemason. Billy is listed as a Freemason in the 33rd degree Albert Mackey's History of Freemasonry by the publisher on the inside flap. Billy's son, Franklin Graham, also won't ever expose Freemasonry because he's too busy eating at Voodoo Donuts, where they sell these donuts and these pentagram donuts. More Christian heavyweights like John Hagee or Hagee throwing up the devil's horns. He'll never preach against Freemasonry. neither will all these world-famous pastors, throwing up the devil's horns. The very popular Ray Comfort even stated that he wasn't a Freemason. Well, here he is, giving a perfect Masonic handshake with pastoral giant Joyce Meyer. Do either of them expose Freemasonry, or the fact that it's the driving force behind the one world government, all predicted by Jesus? Of course not. What about Christian radio or the Christian music scene? No, not a single word of warning whatsoever regarding the Satanic Church that lives and breathes all around us. Freemasons like Bono, wearing the Christian name tag, his whole band of Freemasons. Bono too should know better than anyone that a one world government is a trap as foretold in the Bible. But Bono supports it. Oh yeah, he works for it. Just like the Masonic Pope does. Even if by some freak chance they didn't know any better, no disciple of Jesus can bend their knee to another man in the Masonic Lodge, calling him master and swear to keep secrets. Look what they call each other from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. Master Mason, Grand Master, Most Eminent Grand Master, and the most appalling title of all, Most Worshipful Master. Most worshipful. Do you see how extra diluted the Christian Freemason has to be when Jesus said, "Do not be called master, because one is your master"? And what about all those oaths? Don't worry, Jesus covered that too. What I tell you is this: do not put yourself under oath at all, but let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. How's that for an idea? But the Freemasons' yes means no, because they all swear to lie and conceal from the first degree initiation all the way through. What is whispered in your ear, proclaim it from the rooftops. That's Jesus. You see the contrast? How precise he was and still is. You think Bono and the Pope don't know about the Masonic calendar and how it's not the same calendar as ours? From the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, the real date of the world is found by adding 4000 to the Vulgar era. This whole Christian era is vulgar. So the year in the Masonic world is actually 6021. And this abbreviation is in French, the Vulgar era, beginning since the year of the Lord, since the year of Jesus Christ. That's how they feel about the current age, which is coming to a mind-blowing end by design. Now, do you think Freemasons aren't capable of mass murder? Well, Joseph Stalin murdered approximately 20 million people, and he was a Freemason, displaying the sign of the master of the second veil of Freemasonry. Vladimir Lenin was the leader of the Bolshevik Party, and he paved the way for the mass murder of 60 million people, mostly Christians, and he was a proud Freemason. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Adolf Hitler, a Freemason, clearly giving the grip of a Master Mason. And here he sits next to his military leader, Hermann Göring, who is also displaying his allegiance to Freemasonry with a hidden hand. He even displays the Masonic triangle, just like fellow Masonic brother Jay-Z. The mind of Hitler surrounds you now. It just hasn't pounced yet. The mind of Hitler isn't isolated to some portion of the world anymore. It now encompasses you. Hitler is everywhere. Far more clever than you can imagine. Evolved and sleeping in your bed. It's easy to say that's impossible. Once upon a time, 70 million Germans adored him. Once upon a time, Hitler was named Man of the Year by Time magazine. You've been fooled by the satanic machine. Please don't try to get inside to the mind of Freemasonry. It's like trying to understand Satan himself. You can't, and you don't want to. Freemasons will make friends with their most hated enemies. They will cross-dress their morals to move closer to their goal. They'll make the English language void of any meaning by turning everything inside out and upside down to camouflage its objectives. They will simultaneously create charities along with the greatest machines to ever destroy the hearts of men, like pornography. They will sell their souls to gain the world. They are a dichotomy, a paradox, a lie that loves to speak the truth and a truth that loves to lie. They are a snake eating their own tail, consuming what they produce. Freemasonry is hell dressed as heaven, death dressed as life, Its God is an angel of darkness dressed as an angel of light, and 90% of its membership is a shield, lost in its symbolism. Freemasonry has become the ally and the opposition. Who are the biggest voices on so-called climate change in recent years? Which is more order out of chaos? Al Gore, a Freemason, and Greta Thunberg, from a Jesus-hating secret society family. Freemason and former Russian President Mikhail Gorbachev said this in 1996. Yes, the whole world is under the control of the evil one, like the Gospels say. Freemasonry controls the opposition, with the most popular conspiracy theorists Alex Jones and David Icke both banned, yet both secretly Freemasons, who will lead you in every direction except into the arms of the ultimate power of the Gospels. Every noteworthy religion is comfortably caught in the Masonic net because they all stem from a lie. Here's the Dalai Lama with a bunch of Freemasons. He just loves hanging out with famous people. Here he's throwing up the devil's horns with Freemason Gene Simmons. But there's no way the Dalai Lama can be a Freemason, right? Well, here he is displaying the hidden hand of the Freemasons next to George W. Bush, a fellow brother. That's right, the Dalai Lama is a Freemason, under an oath of silence and sworn to secrecy. Are you going to wake up now? Here he is with his students in his temple. And what's behind him? This symbol. Can you see? The pyramid with the emanating eye on top, symbolized by a sun, which you know now is the phallus of the god of this world, shooting forth his generative light, his mystical sperm that gives life, and whose one eye transcends good and evil, both of which are just illusions of the mind. Understanding this comes by initiations, and yes, tantric initiations are used in Tibetan Buddhism. Gerald York was the Dalai Lama's emissary, his personal representative to the West, and he was personal friends with 33rd degree Freemason and Satanist Aleister Crowley, who wrote 20 essays named Aleister Crowley, The Golden Dawn, and Buddhism. And he also served as a consultant to the movie Lucifer Rising, the Dalai Lama's representative. See how the eye can also be represented by the sun, caught behind the moon in this movie poster. That's just like the Dalai Lama's logo. And here's a scene from the movie with the Masonic square and compass hidden in plain sight. Look at the symbol of Buddhism, and look at the floor inside every Masonic lodge, symbolizing opposites and equilibrium, which creates life, and where evil is not what it seems, it's necessary. Why do you think the New Age author Christopher Hyatt, who writes that the Grand Vicar of Lord Lucifer is soon to be crowned Prime Minister of the world, notes in that same book his appreciation of Nietzsche, the man who states that the Christian is the sick animal man, the Zohar, which is witchcraft, and Buddha. These are the people he appreciates. Why does he lump Buddha into the same basket? I'll tell you why right now. Because in his highest manifestation, the Buddha, seeing the illusionary world through the all-seeing eye, his third eye, would not interrupt a rape if he happened to walk by, so as to stay detached from the karmic cycle. Whereas Jesus, knowing everything and more than the Buddha, would sacrifice himself, because he was born to destroy evil, not transcend it. So tell me, who would you rather have walk by if you were being raped? A transcendental meditator or Jesus Christ? Whatever you think of me, you will have to reconcile the fact that all the leaders of the world, from Scott Morrison to the Dalai Lama, belong to the very same secret society as Adolf Hitler did, Freemasonry. The secret religion no one speaks about, for good reason, and by good I mean very, very evil. What do you think is going on here? I've told you almost exactly what's going on. We're in a lot of trouble, because in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, and Hitler, Stalin, and Lenin combined will be child's play compared to what's just ahead.